Don't take lectures from Muslims about the moral decadence of the West when Islam legitimates adultery and secret marriages. This needs to become an issue. Every mosque must legally be obliged to declare every marriage, and all those who participate in polygamy must be punished. They are literally turning a blind eye to welfare scamming and welfare fraud that is contributing to your tax bill. What do we as Christians do about the polygamy in the Old Testament? We interpret the Old Testament through the teachings of Jesus. Jesus doesn't actually in his teaching say much about the Old Testament, but he does say some things. And on the question of divorce, he said that Moses allowed you to give a certificate of divorce. But that was not how it was in the beginning. That in the beginning, that there should be two who become one flesh. So in the beginning, God created Adam and Eve. Not Adam, Eve, Isabella, Catherine and Sarah, ladies and gentlemen. And so, since polygamy is a deviation from what God created in the beginning, like murder was a deviation, like rebellion and spiritual death were deviations, polygamy was a sin. But just as God allowed divorce because of the hardness of their hearts, God also allowed polygamy because of the hardness of their hearts. But in the New Covenant, whenever the Bible talks about marriage, it understands marriage, as Ephesians 5 verses 20 onwards does, as being emblematic, symbolic of Christ's relationship to the church, as Christ's marriage to the church. How many wives does Jesus have? One. And if we are meant to imitate Christ, how many wives must we have? And that is why in the epistles it says, let the elders of the church be men of one wife. And that is why polygamy is seen as a sin. That means that we in this country should prosecute and punish every Muslim in a polygamous marriage. That we should prosecute and punish every bigamist who has more than one wife. We should define our laws according to the New Covenant, and we should punish all of those people that are abusing the welfare system that you pay for in your taxes, where they have more than one wife and the other wives are living on benefits, pretending to be a single woman whilst they are married in the mosque. And your taxes are paying for that benefit fraud. But the liberal progressives of this country are so weak-minded because of their blind ideological liberalism. They are literally turning a blind eye to welfare scamming and welfare fraud that is contributing to your tax bill. This needs to become an issue. Every mosque must legally be obliged to declare every marriage, and every marriage must be recognized by the state, and all polygamous marriages must be outlawed, and all those who participate in polygamy must be punished.
Yes.
Must.
Any other questions on polygamy?
It's a gift on Hadith.
God,
Thank you very much.
you know,
Could I do that?
Keep up the good work, Dave. God bless you, brother.
Wait, let someone else ask a question. On polygamy. Is it not on polygamy? Oh, sorry.
About the guys that go from over here to another country as well, they should be punished as
Yes.
much as those that
And let's be clear, ladies and gentlemen. One of the things that is happening in this country is that Muslim men are fooling people into secret marriages.
Yeah, they are.
They're having one wife
Okay.
and then secretly not telling their first wife that they're sticking their poker into other fires, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, flowers. Oh, okay.
Other fires. Now let me explain why this is a problem.
Play that.
Let's imagine that the other fire happens to have certain faults with it, certain diseases, and then those diseases are transferred from one woman to the next. Doesn't that first woman have the right to know where her man is sticking his poker, ladies and gentlemen?
They do.
The reality is that secret marriages that are practiced in Islam are basically just a code for adultery, ladies and gentlemen. It's no better than going to a nightclub and sleeping around with different women in the nightclub. Don't take lectures from Muslims about the moral decadence of the West when Islam legitimates adultery and secret marriages, which is basically just the same thing as sleeping around in a nightclub and committing adultery against your wife, ladies and gentlemen. I want to say, ladies and gentlemen,
Say it.
that any man who commits adultery against his wife,
Happens.
regardless of his religion,
Okay.
should be punished by the state. And we need to impose punishments on unfaithful men, ladies and gentlemen.
I agree.
Any other questions on the topic of polygamy? Going once, going twice.
We might have covered it, but
We're talking about polygamy.
so with regards to the prophets in the Old Testament,
Sorry, idiot over there is being rude.
to the prophets of the Old Testament
Yeah.
had polygamous relationships. How is that reconciled?
Right. So, ladies and gentlemen,
What's the question? Bob?
which prophet are you talking about?
David, Solomon,
Right.
Abraham.
So what do we do about prophets
Okay.
like David who had polygamous marriages?
Yeah, Solomon.
Put your hand up if you're a Christian. Keep your hand up
Okay, okay.
if you think David was sinless. There you go.
No, I know.
That's why you've got to pay attention.
You know the young gone.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
nobody believes in Christianity that the prophets were sinless.
No one.
That is a stupid Islamic idea
It's
that isn't even supported in their Quran. But, ladies and gentlemen, we Christians don't believe in Islamic nonsense. We believe that all the prophets were sinners and their polygamy was a sin permitted because of the hardness of their heart. Like divorce was permitted because of the hardness of their heart. Any other questions on polygamy? Go on.
So why did he correct the prophets and told them to keep the monogamy?
Sorry?
Didn't God correct prophets and tell them that monogamy is the right way?
Right.
okay. Well, you know, tell him.
So why didn't God correct the prophets?
Why?
Ladies and gentlemen, I've already said, because of the hardness of their hearts. In other words, even if God had said, do not practice monogamy, they would have still practiced polygamy. Like, for instance,
Yeah.
when you read the Judges And the people of Israel said, give us a king, give us a king, give us a king. What did God say to them? He said to them, if I give you a king, it will end in disaster. He wanted them to be ruled by judges. But because of the hardness of their heart, he gave them kings to rule over them. God works with the hardness of people's hearts because God is a merciful God who desires that all should be saved. Any other questions on the issue of polygamy?
So you mentioned that they were sinners for having a wife.
Yeah.
He just explains 2 Samuel 12:18, where God says to David that you were to Israel and Judah that you were given, God gave you these wives.
What does it say?
So I gave you your master's house to you and your master's wives and your wives.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, why then, given what I've just said, does God say in the scriptures that he gave David his wives? Did I not just say that God permitted polygamy because of the hardness of their hearts? So if God permitted polygamy, he allowed David to have those wives. There is no contradiction in my argument and the scripture. If God permits it, he allowed it. If he allowed it, then that's why David has multiple wives, because God allowed David to succeed. Any other questions on polygamy? Sorry?
Only Christians. Only Christians. You can marry only Christians.
Who should marry? That's not the question of polygamy, sir. I want to settle on the question of polygamy by pointing this out. That when you look, ladies and gentlemen, at Muhammad and the understanding of marriage in Islam and compare it to Christianity, in every way, the Christian concept of marriage is superior to the Islamic concept of marriage. In Islam, you can cheat and lie to your wife. In Christianity, you can't. In Islam, you can marry children. In Christianity, you can't. In Islam, you can physically abuse your wife on the suspicion of marriage. In Christianity, you can't. In Islam, the relationship between man and woman is not equal in terms of how many people you can marry and what are the reasons for polygamy. So, for instance, if a man, according to Islamic fiqh, goes to another country and he can't keep it in his pants, he's allowed to have a misyar marriage. But the woman has to control her loins, ladies and gentlemen. She's not allowed the excuse that the man is allowed. But in Christianity, both men and women must be equally faithful. So let me ask you this, women. Let me ask you this, Muslimas. Which religion is offering you the best deal? Islam or Christianity? Let me hear you, sisters. You Christian sisters. Which religion is offering you the best deal? Islam or Christianity? Any other questions on any topic connected to the Christian faith?